whatever, we'll figure it out. But I think I know what I'm doing. This is not good. Hey bike farmers, thanks for clicking in. Today we're gonna build some wheels. Well, I'll probably just show you building one wheel. I've got some Velocity Cliffhanger 26-inch rims here. This is for my adventure bike. These are a nice, real wide profile, super beefy, you know, heavy duty rim, kind of bomb proof. They're 32 hole, so 32 spokes. And then I've got some vintage Shimano XTR M950 hubs. Got two of them matching here. I looked up these hubs online. There's some spoke protectors out there. There's some spoke length calculators out there. So let's see here. It is 260 millimeter for the front, all the way around, 32 of them. On the rear wheel, because the hub is offset a little bit, because you got to leave room for the cassette here. So the middle between here kind of offsets. So these spokes are shorter than these, but only by a millimeter. So 258 and 259, you know, it probably doesn't matter a whole lot. And then I got a bunch of brand new brass nipples here. So, and I'm just using brass. You can use alloy ones. They're lighter. They're just not quite as strong. And then I've got this nifty little drill bit that I filed down, and what that does, see if I can demonstrate here, the nipple fits right in there. So I'm gonna try this time. So I'll go through and lace it all up manually, and then I'm gonna go through with my electric screwdriver and my new bit and go zoop, 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 and that should get all of them the exact same, I don't know, the exact same tension, but it won't be tension at that point. And then when we put it in the truing stand, I can just kind of count how many turns, and that's when I bring it up to tension finally. I just kind of count and do it by feel. Before I get my tensiometer out, tension all the spokes, true it, and I'll kind of go into depth about that too. I build like maybe a wheel a year. I've built a bunch of wheels, but for whatever reason, I still have to think about it. I still have to relearn the whole process. I don't know what my problem is. I should know this stuff. So who knows, maybe I'll build them wrong, and then, you know, whatever, we'll figure it out. But I think I know what I'm doing. And I'm just gonna go traditional 3-cross. So that's enough talking about it. Kick back, relax, and let's get started. Okay, one of the things we start with here is called spoke prep, and we have two colors. Having two colors of it helps you with the rear spokes because they're different lengths. You can just kind of color code them, but I'm gonna build the front wheel right now, and I'm just gonna use this natural, whatever color this is, looking stuff. Spoke prep is like, dropped the spoke prep. Spoke prep is kind of like a low-grade Loctite, and just kind of keeps things from seizing up and whatever. And I just kind of do one of those numbers with it. That's way too much. Okay, I made a mess of things. But anyway, we'll just kind of set those aside to dry. Actually, I just went to clean it up, and I think that nice thin layer of spoke prep on these is gonna really do well. So I'm just gonna leave it and start building. Okay, so I just start kind of with everything on my lap like this. I'm reusing these hubs. So you can see there's gonna be inbound spokes and outbound spokes. And you can see on here that this is an outbound spoke hole because it's like there's a little groove left over from the last one. Now I'm starting opposite the valve hole. It's the hole just to the left of it. So you're gonna kind of lace things radially, but then eventually it's gonna twist this way. And I always like to line it up so the logo in the hub can be seen through the valve hole. It's kind of a tricky thing, and that looks to be about right. So it's always a little bit of a guess, and we shall see if I get it right. And then what I do is I go one spoke at a time, and I just gave it like 5 turns. Okay, so that one's good. And then on the hub, it's every other hole, but on the rim, it's every 4th hole. So I'll go through, you know, and I wanna say I'm not a professional wheel builder. I know how to do it. Doesn't mean I'm really good at it or I'm an expert or anything like that. Kind of like frame building. Like there are true artisans out there, true craftsmen that know exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and are very deliberate with their actions. I can build a wheel that doesn't fail. And I've built wheels for customers and they've never failed, but I think there's a lot of theory that goes into it. Jobst Brandt wrote a book on it called The Bicycle Wheel, which is an excellent resource. That's what I used to build my first wheel back in the day before the internet, so couldn't watch a YouTube video on how to do it. I had guys at the shop kind of helping me along the way, but mostly I used the book and figured it out. And I actually just got, I think it's like the 3rd edition or 4th edition that just went back into print, and I picked one up, but I didn't pull it down for this. Okay, so then we get that side done and we flip it over. Okay, so then looking straight down, the holes on this flange will be slightly offset from the flange beneath it, and you find the right hole, inbound, outbound, and then go to the corresponding hole in the rim. So here we go, we're just gonna go all the way around here. Hey bike farmers, I just wanted to take this lull in the action to let you know how much I appreciate that you've clicked in to watch this video. Now that I've been at it a little bit, I'm starting to learn why everybody's always asking for more. The AdSense money is just barely enough to make it worth starting a channel. If I want to sustain this for the long term, I'm gonna need everyone's help. Now don't get me wrong, your attention is enough. Don't feel obligated to give more, but I've tried to make it as easy as possible. You can always click the super thanks, that's the heart with the $ in the middle of it, or consider a monthly membership. The monthly membership will give you a little star next to your name, and if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. I'll see the star, and when I see it, I'll definitely give you an answer. You'll also have access to a little more behind the scenes action that non-members can't see. With all that said, thank you so much, and let's get back to some bikes. Okay, now once you have it to this point, I give it what I call the twist. Everything gets twisted like that, right? So it kind of looks like yay. Now we've got the inbound spoke, and it's a 3-cross. So it's gonna go under, under, over. So you can see the spoke head there. It's gonna go under this one, and over this one, and then into the next available hole. I have this tool I got from Efficient Velo Tools, but you can put a nipple on the end of it and then come in through this side. Find your spoke and at least catch a couple threads. Okay, once you get one in there, then you can go through and make sure all your nipples everywhere are seated. That will help with that twist, make it a little bit easier to get all of the rest of the crossing spokes all set in their happy homes. So you got under, under, over. I think I'm okay. Famous last words, under, under, over. So my initial thoughts is that when I put those first spokes in, I screwed them in too much, that 5 turns on that first side. So I just feel like I'm gonna struggle to get these threaded, which means I might have to go back around and loosen a bunch. But I think I've got it laced up properly. And I think I got my spoke length correct. It's just gonna be weird to tension it up now, because everything's kind of topsy-turvy wonky. So there we have a laced wheel. And the thing that I always check when I'm done is, here's the valve hole, right? And you want to just make sure that you have parallel spokes there. And we do. All right, let's get this wheel in the stand. Usually when you spin it, it's kind of got a big wobble to it. Now I just made this tool, and I start everything from the valve hole. With this tool I made, the little nubbin on the top is going to hit the end of the spoke. So the outer part's gonna grab onto the nipple and spin it, and then that inner part's gonna hit the end of the spoke and stop it at that point. So it's only gonna tighten these so far, and then that's it. And then I'm gonna go through with the spoke wrench and do the rest. So theoretically speaking, this will get me at a consistent tension all the way around. It won't let me over tension any of them. Okay, I'm halfway around. I'm losing my efficacy. Okay, so this shot's only gonna give you one side of the wheel, and you can see how terrible everything is. My new tool did not work. This thing's a mess. But what I do know is that I went around, okay, like this, all the way, and then about halfway is when my tool started losing its efficacy, and I can see through the rim here. I'm gonna go through and just add some tension to all of these spokes. And I should probably be using the green spoke wrench. It's gonna fit a little bit better. Maybe even the black one. Ooh, the black one fits real tight. Yeah, so like this spoke, I can see it's just really... Well, there's another trick I can show you here too that I should probably do. So these are all feeling pretty tight. All right, so there's something really wonky going on here. This is not good. Okay, so I'm going to relieve tension in this first half, the first 16 spokes that I hit. Oh, dropped a spoke wrench. So the electric screwdriver trick really messed me up. I can tell a lot of these spokes are just way too tight, like this one in particular. I think it was a lot of the ones from the very first spokes I put in. I just tightened them down too tight, and it's really messing with the whole wheel now. Combine that with the electric screwdriver thing, and I just kind of screwed myself. I'm gonna remember that when I do the rear wheel, I'm just a couple of threads to get them started. All right, I'm gonna try to get this wheel in a spot that will actually be somewhat educational. Okay, so I just took out a lot of the tension on this wheel, and now I'm just kind of going by feel. Just grab a couple, and if I feel one that's like way different than another, I'm making some tweaks, and I'm just kind of pinching the crossing spokes at this point. So if you look here, you can see it moves over. Now you're only seeing one side, but there's a nice mirror there, so I'm hoping it's a good demonstration. And I can move the truing stand up and down. So right now I'm checking for round, so I'm watching how the rim goes up and down. And when you hear it, that means that it's going down. So I'm gonna tighten the spokes in this region. And I'm not tightening them much, just like a quarter turn at a time. And I might not even tighten them all the way to get it to stop rubbing. We'll find the extreme spots and kind of get those out. And we'll just make micro adjustments as we go. Once we get things pretty round, we'll check side by side and get things pretty side by side. Then I'm just gonna add tension. Then eventually we'll get the tensiometer out and use that to dial everything in and get everything really consistent. I don't know how, there's people that build wheels, that's all they do, and they're super fast, and I don't know how they do it, because this takes me forever. I got it pretty round, at least round enough for now, round enough for who it's for. That's not true. If you're building a wheel, get it right, you know? And now I'm going side to side. So that's way more better, hey, huh? Look at that. Nice and round, good side to side. So now I'm gonna just go through and really stress these spokes. And I'm also feeling for any that feel like they're really, really tight or really loose. Because essentially what you've got here are pairs of crossing spokes that kind of work together. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So now, starting at the valve hole, which is right here, I'm going to add one full turn to each spoke to bring it up to tension. 1, 2, 1, 2. Go all the way around. Okay, so one thing I like to do is go through and just kind of tap down the outbound spokes here. And this just kind of takes that tension out of, the outbound spoke kind of have to get around the flange. And this just sort of helps them bend around there and makes them find their happy equilibrium home. The other thing we have to kind of pay attention to is dish. And I'm just gonna check the dish. I haven't checked the dish on this truing stand in a while. So that's with this tool. There's a little feeler dee-bobber-doo-boo thing here with you can move it in and out. And then these rest on there. So the feeler dee-bobber-doober goes on under the axle where it interfaces with your bike. And then you just match it up with this side. It's very, very close. So probably good enough to move forward at this point. I mean, if it's gotta go any way, it's gotta go that way just a smidge. So we'll just kind of keep that in mind when we're truing it. So we wanna pull the rim to the right just a little bit while we do all this. Okay, so I'm just gonna tighten the spokes on this side. That's gonna pull it over. This is surprisingly true still, after just going around and doing that one turn by feel. Check the round quick. There's no big hops. Okay, so you can see we just kind of make little micro adjustments here and there. Man, so just by feel, the tension feels pretty good. All right, now this is something that I really hope the microphone picks up, but I like to, again, start at the valve hole and then with the crossing spokes. Okay, so these are 2 crossing spokes here. So you go by tone, those are about the same. This one sounded way higher than that one. And we're just gonna try to, use our ears and match them by tone. Do, 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 do. So we're gonna add a little here. It's like tuning a guitar. and loosen that one. They're even. So I'm going to tighten that one and loosen that one. Tighten and loosen. Close enough. Close enough. Close enough. Close enough. And we're all the way around. Okay. And really, I mean, it's not perfect pitch, right? This is just getting things close enough. So tighten and loosen. And you can feel it too. Whoa. That one was way off. In fact, it was so tight that I stripped the nipple. So I'm going to replace it quick. Add a little, take a little off. Okay, and then we'll check it one more time. It's pretty good. Now, we've got our tensiometer, and I'm gonna go through, and there's a chart, and I think I wanna be right around 20 with my measurement, maybe 21, but I'm just gonna check a couple. So that's like 16, 17, 17, 17. It's wildly consistent. Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna go through and just add a little bit of tension to each one, and I just rounded that one out. So I'm gonna replace it. Man, maybe I shouldn't add any tension if I'm rounding out nipples. That's the second one. Somebody's gonna tell me to get a better spoke wrench. So I'm just doing a quarter turn and being kind of careful with my wrench to make sure I got good purchase on each nipple. And then I think I'm just gonna go do the final touches and call it done. Oh, dropped a spoke wrench. Okay, so we don't need to be adding any more tension. In fact, if I'm doing any adjustments now, I'm going to be loosening spokes. We're just going to do the final little bit of truing. Just a couple of little spots. That's it. Okay, we'll go through and just give everything a good stretching. Good enough for me. You can kind of put the wheel on the ground and give it one of these. Just stress things a little bit. And just double check. It moved a little, not much. Well, there you have it, folks. We got ourselves a wheel. And if I look through the valve hole, I don't know if you'd be able to see it. Probably not. I'd have to, that'd be a really tricky camera shot. I wonder, maybe I should try to get it. But if you look through the valve hole, you see the logo, the XTR logo on the hub. So very fancy XTR hubs on Velocity Cliffhanger rims, absolutely bomb-proof, perfect for my adventure bike. You know, I don't know what they weigh, but heavier than your race wheels, but still not super heavy, but totally bomb-proof, high-end, amazing wheel. Theoretically, it's gonna last the rest of my life, and even if it doesn't, I'll just replace spokes when they break, because who cares, it's easy. Thank you so much. If you've watched this far, you've already done quite a bit to support the channel, but you can always give it a like and subscribe if you haven't. If you really want to give back, you can click the heart with the $sign in it. That's a super thanks. Send me $5, $10, $15 will buy me tacos for a day at least. Or consider sustaining monthly membership. You can sign up and give $5, $10 a month. You probably won't even miss it. And if I get enough people doing that, well, hey, this channel will go on forever. And I'll make wonderful videos that you can tune into to learn how to build wheels in a very mediocre fashion. And for yourself, the #1 thing you can do is click that notification bell so you and your bike can stay tuned.